GPT 5.2
There's a lot of noise around GPT 5.2, so let's cut through it. This isn't about flashy features or marketing claims. It's about what actually changed under the hood and where this model is genuinely better.
Now, they're talking a lot, like right now, especially with Gemini, with Claude, with Grok, with GPT, they're competing head to head with who's going to come out with the best model. So there's a lot of talk online with how every model that comes out is now the next most amazing AI model. With ChatGPT 5.2, the biggest improvement that ChatGPT has actually been focusing on is trying to compete with the new update with Gemini 3 Pro and the new Opus models from Claude that are a lot more intelligent and logic focused. ChatGPT's model that was 5.1, they created to be this friendly assistant. You may have noticed it becoming more conversational or easier to understand or talk back and forth with you as a person. Now they took that and they trained on top of it to create a more logical model. And so now with the new model, you can get long responses, and with their thinking and deep research and ChatGPT Pro, you're going to get a lot higher level of processing and logic behind the answers that you're actually putting in. And one big progress for ChatGPT, because they haven't been able to do this ever since Claude came out with their Opus models, is they are finally caught up to the Claude Opus 4.5 as far as coding goes. They're now, like Claude Opus 4.5 is 0.9% ahead of them on the benchmarks, and ChatGPT 5.2 is right up there. And the cool part with ChatGPT is now, if you know how ChatGPT can go into its thinking process, that in itself can now take upwards of like 45 minutes for it to come up with an answer for your response. This isn't ChatGPT Pro, this is regular thinking. And with Pro, people have reported it going for over an hour of just thinking and processing to get answers out of it. So as far as what is cool about this is now with the new GPT 5.2, we can just get more concrete, more in-depth answers. And where it should be used for, right? As I said, you get understanding of 5.1 GPT, but you have the capabilities of Claude Opus 4.5. So you should use it again, coding, deep research, and document generation. And that's where it's going to shine. Like if you've ever had, for example, an instance with when you ask ChatGPT to generate you a PDF and text or boxes are misaligned and out of place, or something is not formatted correctly, mistakes like that are going to happen drastically less now. That was their big focus with this model, so that now they can be a lot more focused on actually creating like detailed code, detailed logic. Now, one little thing that I will also drop as a little sneaky thing for everybody out there who is trying to get the best bang for their buck with the GPT plan. Now, ChatGPT 5.2 can automatically switch between auto and thinking on its own. Now, the cool part with ChatGPT's billing is the only times that you're getting billed for their thinking models is if you manually select thinking. So if you are on a free plan and you run out of your thinking credits, or even if you're on a pro plan, you still have limited amount of thinking that you can use. If you run out of it, you can always more strictly instruct ChatGPT to think and process the question longer, and it can switch to the thinking mode all on its own. So there's a little side pointer for everybody. But this is the big news. Like the big part is just better coding, better logic, but it's a lot better coding and logic. If you've ever worked with PDFs before with GPT, I highly suggest you go and try to generate a PDF now, because it is now generally comparable to Claude or Gemini. So there it is. There's the ChatGPT quick update for the new model.
Conclusion: 10-second GPT 5.2 isn't revolutionary. It's correct. It fixes reasoning, coding, and structured output weaknesses that held earlier versions back. If your work depends on logic, structure, or precision, the difference is real. If it does, you may barely notice. This model disproportionately rewards clear problem framing,